Hello everybody, my name is Manbear Pope and welcome to Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. Now if you don't know what this game is, it is a psychological horror game wrapped in a kind of cutesy anime style dating simulator. And if that combination doesn't sound fucked up enough, I assure you it is. So fair warning for anybody who wants to step through that door with me. This is not a game for the faint of heart, and it's not a game for people who have like crippling anxiety and that sort of thing. However, we're gonna see if we can play this game. Now, this is the new Doki Doki Plus that just came out. I don't know, like, where a lot of like the side, the extra like side quests and side stuff comes in. So this is the menu that just comes up when you open it. It looks like the original menu. So we're going to just jump in and see what we can see. Let's click a new game. Please enter your name. Alright. I don't know if the side story is going to come in like naturally, or is it like a separate playable thing? I really don't know. This annoying girl running towards me from the distance, waving her arms in the air like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself. I gotta lower my mic here so I can see. There we go. Go Sayori, my neighbor and good friend since we were children. You know, the kind of friend you never see yourself making today, but just kind of works out because you've known each other for so long. We used to walk to school together on days like this, but starting around high school, she would oversleep more and more frequently, and I would get tired of waiting. But she's gonna chase after me like this, I must feel better off running away. However, I just sigh and idle in front of the crosswalk and let Sayori catch up to me. Ha! Ha! I overslept again, but I caught you this time. Maybe, only because I decided to stop and wait for you. Hey, you say that like you were thinking about ignoring me. That's mean. Oh, if people stare at you for acting weird and I don't want them to think we're a couple or something, fine, fine. But you did wait for me after all. I guess you don't have it in you to be mean even if you want to. Whatever you say, Sayori. Hee hee. We cross the street together and make our way to school. As we draw near, the streets become increasingly speckled with other students making their daily commute. By the way, have you decided on a club to join yet? A club? Told you already, I'm not interested in joining any clubs. Haven't been looking either. Hey, that's not true. You told me you would join a club this year. Did I? I'm sure it's possible that I did in one of our many conversations where I dismissively go along with whatever she's going on about. Sayori likes to worry a little too much about me. When I'm perfectly content just getting by on the average while spending my free time on games and anime. Uh-huh. I was talking about how I'm worried that you won't learn how to socialize or have any skills before college. Your happiness is really important to me, you know. And I know you're happy now, but I died at the thought of you becoming a NEET in a few years because you're not used to the real world. You trust me, right? So maybe keep worrying about you. Alright, I'll look at a few clubs that makes you happy. No promises, though. Will you at least promise me you'll try a little? Yeah, I guess I'll promise you that. Yay! Why do I let myself get lectured by such a carefree girl? More than that, I'm surprised I even let myself relent to her. I guess seeing her worry so much about me makes me want to put her mind at ease, at least a little bit, even if she does exaggerate everything inside of her head. So far, this is the same. If I pack up my things and stare blankly at the wall looking for an ounce of motivation, clubs. Sayori wants me to check out some clubs. Guess I have no choice but to start with the anime club. Hello? Sayori? Sayori must have come in the classroom while I was spacing out. I look around and realize I'm the only one left in the classroom. Thought I'd catch you coming out of the classroom. I just saw you standing here and spacing out, so I came in. Honestly, you're even worse than me sometimes. I'm impressed. You'll need to wait up for me if it's going to make you late to your own club. Well, I thought you might need some encouragement, so I thought, you know, know what? Well, that you could come to my club. Sayori. Yeah! There's no way I'm going to your club. Maybe. Sayori is vice president of the literature club. Not that I was ever aware she had any interest in literature. In fact, I'm 99% sure she only did it because she thought it would be fun to help start a new club. She was the first one to show interest. After the one who proposed the club, she inherited the title of vice president. That said, my interest in literature is guaranteed to be even less. Yeah, I'm going to the anime club. Come on, please. I can't do a separate voice for Sayori. My throat will just end up hurting. I can't hit that high of a pitch. Why do you care so much anyway? Well, I kind of told the club yesterday I would bring a new member. And Mitsuki made cupcakes and everything. Don't make promises you can't keep. Can't tell if Suri's really that much up in her head or if she's so cunning as to have planned all of this out. I let out a long sigh. Fine, I'll stop by for a cupcake. Okay. Yes, let's go! So again, this is all normal. I dejectedly follow Suri across the school and upstairs, a section of the school I rarely visit. Suri, full of energy, swings open the classroom door. Everyone, the new member, is here. I told you, don't call me a new member. I glance around the room. Girl 1, welcome to the Literature Club. It's a pleasure meeting you. Suri always says nice things about you. Girl 2, seriously? You brought a boy? Way to kill the atmosphere. Girl 3, Medbear Pope. What a nice surprise. Welcome to the club. And I stand there dumbly. All words escape me. This club is full of incredibly cute girls. What are you looking at? If you want to say something, just say. Sorry. Natsuki? Girl with a sour attitude whose name is apparently Natsuki is one I don't recognize. Her small figure makes her look like a first-year student. Also the one who made cupcakes according to Sayori. You can't just ignore her when she gets moody. Oh, you can just ignore her when she gets moody, excuse me. Sayori says that quietly and my ear turns back toward the other girls. Anyway, this is Natsuki, always full of energy, and this is Yuri, the smartest in our club. Don't say things like that. Yuri, who appears comparably more mature and timid, seems to have a hard time keeping up with people like Sayori and Natsuki. Well, it's nice to meet both of you. And it sounds like you already know Monica, is that right? That's right. It's great to see you again. Monica smiles sweetly. We don't know each other. Well, we barely talk, but we're in the same class last year. Monica was probably the most popular girl in class. Smart, beautiful, athletic, basically completely out of my league. So having her smile at me so genuinely feels a little... You too, Monica. Yay, come sit down. We made room for you at the table so you can sit down next to me or Monica. I'll get the cupcakes. Hey, I made them. I'll get them. Sorry, I get a little too excited. And how about I make some tea as well? Girls have a few desks arranged to form the table. As I mentioned, it's been widened so that there's one space next to Monica and one space next to Sayori. Natsuki and Yuri walk over to the corner of the room, where Natsuki grabs a wrapped tray and Yuri opens the closet. Still feeling awkward, I take a seat next to Sayori. Natsuki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand. Okay, are you ready? Ta-da! Oh! Natsuki lifts the foil off the tray to reveal a dozen white, fluffy cupcakes decorated to look like little cats. The whiskers are drawn with icing and little pieces of chocolate we used to make the ears. So cute! I had no idea you were so good at baking. Well, you know. Just hurry and take one. Sayori grabs the first one, then Monica, I follow. It's delicious. Sayori talks with a mouthful and has already managed to get icing on her face. I turn the cupcake around my fingers looking for the best angle to take a bite. Natsuki is quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. She's waiting for me to take a bite. I finally bite down. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. I wonder if she made it herself. This is really good. Thank you. Why are you thanking me? It's not like I heard this somewhere before. Made them for you or anything. Thought you technically did, Sayori said. Well, maybe. But not for you. You know, you, dummy. Alright. I give up on Natsuki's weird logic and dismiss the conversation. Yuri returns to the table, carrying a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. I kept trying to say cake cup and it didn't work. Keep a whole tea set in this classroom? Don't worry, the teachers gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book? I guess. Hey, don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri's trying to impress you. That's not. Insulted, Yuri looks away. I meant that, you know, I believe it. Well, tea and reading might not be a pastime for me, but at least I enjoy tea. I'm glad. Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. Monica raises an eyebrow and smiles at me. So, what made you consider the literature club? I was afraid of this question. Something tells me I shouldn't tell Monica that I was practically dragged here by Sayori. Well, I haven't joined any clubs yet, and Sayori seemed really happy here, so... That's okay, don't be embarrassed. We'll make sure you feel right at home, okay? As president of the Literature Club, it's my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone. Monica, I'm surprised. How come you decided to start your own club? You could have probably been a board member for any of the other major clubs. Were you a leader of the debate club? Well, you know. To be honest, I can't stand all the politics around the major clubs. Feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and publicity and how to prepare for events. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it, and if it encourages others to get into literature, then I'm fulfilling that dream. Monica really is a great leader. Yuri also nods in agreement. I'm surprised there aren't more people in the club yet. Must be harder to start a brand new club. You could put it that way. Not many people are very interested in putting all that effort to start something brand new, especially when it's something that doesn't grab your attention, like literature. You have to work hard to convince people that you're both fun and worthwhile. But it makes school events like the festival that much more important. Confident we can all really grow this club before we graduate. Right, everybody? Yeah. We'll do our best. You know it. Everyone enthusiastically agrees. Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. Monica must work really hard just to find these three. Maybe that's why we're all so delighted by the idea of a new member joining. I still don't really know if we can keep up with their level of enthusiasm about literature. So, Member Pope, what kind of things do you like to read? Well, considering how little I've read these past few years, I don't really have a good way of answering that. Manga. I muttered quietly to myself, half joking. Natsuki's head perks up. Looks like she wants to say something, but she keeps quiet. Not much of a reader, I guess. Well, that can change. What am I saying? I spoke without thinking of seeing Yuri's sad smile. Anyway, what about you, Yuri? Well, let's see. Yuri traced the rim of her teacup with her finger. My favorites are usually novels that build deep and complex fantasy worlds. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me. And telling a good story in such a foreign world is equally impressive. Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading. She seems so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in. It's obvious by the way her eyes light up that she finds her comfort in the world of books, not people. But you know, I like a lot of things. Stories with deep psychological elements usually immerse me as well. Isn't it amazing how a writer could so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to completely throw you for a loop? Kids, that's what we call foreshadowing. Anyway, I've been reading a lot of horror. I read a horror book once. I desperately grasped something I can relate to at the minimum level. At this rate, Yuri may as well be having a conversation with a rock. Really? I wouldn't have expected that, Yuri. Someone as gentle as you, I guess you could say that. But if a story makes me think or takes me to another world, I really can't put it down. Surreal horror is often very successful at changing the way you look at the world, if only for a brief moment. I hate horror. Oh, why is that? Well, Natsuki's eyes dart over to me for a split second. Never mind. That's right, you usually like to read about cute things, don't you? What? What gives you that idea? You left a piece of scrap paper behind the last club meeting. It looked like you were working on a poem called Don't Say It Out Loud! And give that back. Fine, fine. Your cupcakes, your poems, everything you do is just as cute as you are. Suri slides up behind Natsuki and puts her hands on her shoulders. I'm not cute! Natsuki, you write your own poems? Well, I guess, sometimes. Why do you care? I think that's impressive. Why don't you share them sometime? No. Natsuki averts her eyes. You wouldn't like them. Not a very confident writer yet. I understand how she feels. Sharing that level of writing takes more than just confidence. The truest form of writing is writing to oneself. You must be willing to open up to your readers, exposing your vulnerabilities and showing even the deepest reaches of your heart. Your writing experience too, Yuri? If you share some of your work, you can set an example and help Natsuki feel comfortable enough to share hers. I guess it's the same for Yuri. Oh, I want to read everyone's poems. We all sit in silence for a moment. Okay, I have an idea. Everyone? Natsuki and Yuri look quizzically at Monica. So I'll go home and write a poem of our own. The next time we meet, we can all share them with each other. That way, everyone is even. Yeah, let's do it. Plus, now that we have a new member, I think it will help us get a little more comfortable with each other and strengthen the bond of the club. Isn't that right? Monica smiles warmly at me once again. Hold on, there's still one problem. What's that? Now that we're back to the original topic of me joining the club, I bluntly come forth with what's been on my mind the entire time. I never said I would join this club. Sure, he may have convinced me to stop by, but I never made any decision. list of other clubs to look at, and I lose my train of thought. All 4 girls stare back at me with dejected eyes. But, I'm sorry, I thought, and they're broke. You all are defenseless against these girls. How am I supposed to make a clear-headed decision when it's like this? That is, if writing poems is the price I need in order to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls. Right. Okay, I've decided then. I'll join the literature club. One by one, the girls' eyes light up. Yes, I'm so happy. Zoe wraps her arms around me, jumping up and down. Hey! You really did scare me for a moment. If you really just came for the cupcakes, I'd be super pissed. That makes it official. Welcome to the literature club. Ah, thanks, I guess. Okay, everyone. I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Everyone, remember tonight's assignment. Write a poem and bring the next meeting so we can all share. Monica looks over at me once more. Remember a poem out for you to see how you express yourself. Yeah. I really impressed the class star with my medical and writing skills. I already feel the anxiety rolling up inside me. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat as Yuri and Natsuki clean up their food. Hey, men, it's already here. Do you want to walk home together? That's right, Suri and I never walk home together anymore because she always stayed after school for clubs. Sure, might as well. Yay! With that, the 2 of us depart the club room and make our way home. The whole way, my mind wanders back and forth between the 4 girls, Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, and of course, Monica. While everyone would be happy spending every day after school in a literature club, perhaps I'll have the chance to grow closer to one of these girls. Alright, I'll just need to make the most of my circumstances, and I'm sure good fortune will find me. And I guess it starts with writing a poem tonight. So this is the poem writing mechanic. So let's see. If I pick something like raindrops, I think Sayori might like it. If I pick something like shiny, I think Natsuki might like it. If I pick something like, let's do Valentine. Let's do this. Unending. That's Yuri. Sadness would be something Sayori likes. Intellectual, let's see. Incongruent is a good word. Let's see, horror. I'm trying to go Yuri's route first, so depending on what you pick, the character will kind of jump up if you pick a word that they like. And you can sort of change how the story goes based upon what you pick. Like if I were to pick puppy here, Natsuki would like it. If I picked misery, it probably would go to Sayori. I think ambient is probably Yuri's word. Yep. I love that they have boop. Let's see, nightgown? Oh, okay. Let's do vivid. Secretive, okay. Plus, let's see, embrace, skipping, shopping, spinning, peace, jump, rose, summer, socks. I'm gonna pick socks, because that's a fun one. Okay, I got an achievement for Poetry Slam. Pleasure. Let's see, we're at what, 14 of 20? Okay. Let's see. Chocolate, okay. Vivacious. Melancholy. Tenacious. Let's see, what should the last one be? Tragedy. Okay. Actually, no, that wasn't the last one. I thought Doki is one. Just because I picked that. Alright, so that's the poem writing mechanic. Hi again, Member Pope. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. Nah, don't worry, this might be a little strange for me, but at least I keep my word. Well, I'm back at the Literature Club. It was the last to commence, everybody else was already hanging out. Thanks for keeping your promise. Hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it. Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. Sure, he told me you didn't even want to join any clubs this year. And last year, too. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what, but if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it. Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth, somebody who keeps a manga collection in the club room. Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying manga and manga. Manga is literature. Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. Don't worry, guys. Remember, Popo gives it his best as long as he's having fun. He helps me with busy work without me even asking, like cooking, cleaning my room. How dependable. Shiori, but because your room is so messy, it's distracting, and you almost set your house on fire once. Is that so? You two are really good friends, aren't you? I might be a little jealous. Oh, come, you and Member Pope can become good friends too. Say, Sayori. Huh? As usual, Sayori seems oblivious to the weird situation she just put me into. Oh, Yuri. You even brought something today. You know. Wait, Sayori. Eh? Me? Not really. Don't be shy. It's really nothing. What is it? Never mind. Sure, it made it sound like a big deal, but it's really not. What do I do? I'm sorry, Yuri. I wasn't thinking. Guess that means up to me to rescue this situation. Hey, don't worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place. Saying nice gesture from you is a pleasant surprise. Makes me happy no matter what. Is that so? Yeah, I won't make the big deal if you don't want it to be. Alright. Well, here. Yuri reaches into a bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention even if you don't usually read. We could, discuss if you wanted to. This is... How is this girl accidentally being so cute? She picked out a book that she thinks I like despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Whew. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monica to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. That doesn't seem to be the case. Yuri and Monica are having a cheery conversation in the corner. Yuri's face is already buried in the book. I can't help but notice her intense expression like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. Really curious talking to Yuri a little bit more. At the same time, I feel bad distracting from reading. Catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. Looks like the same book that she lent me. Well, that she seems to be on the first few pages. Ah, crap. I think she knows me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me and her eyes meet for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry. I was just spacing out. I muttered this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place, but I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book you gave me, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to reread some of it, not for any particular reason. Just curious, how come you have two copies of the same book? Ah, well, I stopped at the bookstore yesterday. That's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy two of them. Ah, I see. Something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decided to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's it about anyway? Well, he closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. It's an honest-looking eye symbol on the front cover. Alright, just wanted to make sure I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does, life gets really strange. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison. Her life's in danger. She needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationships and her life starts to fall apart. It's kind of dark, isn't it? Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story. That dark tone came from nowhere. Aha! Yuri gently giggles, all of a sudden. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy these kinds of stories, so don't you worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri is into those things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. Just that those kind of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a strange perspective. When horrible things happen, it's because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals, their own philosophy that they believe in. And suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonist, I mean, out for being naive, for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plans. That was hard to read. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest in or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then. I feel like I should let you know I have this problem when I let things like books and writing from my thoughts kind of get to pay attention to other people, so I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. It just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It is a literature club, after all. That's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? You don't have to. Huh, what are you saying? Just a moment ago you were looking forward to it. Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book I put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? Slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little bit apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. Just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you. Alright. I open the book and start the prologue. Soon understanding what Yuri means about reading in company, it's as if I could feel a presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but it feels somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realize she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. Looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry. I was just... Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I do? I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... Here, this should work, right? Slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's and hold my book a bit more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way I turn the page, Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But holding it like this, we're held even closer than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. As if I could feel the warmth of Yuri's face and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? To turn the page. Oh, sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again, and her eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do. Since you're being so patient with me. Yeah, thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she's finished before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey Yuri. Might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a bit. You think so? How does she? Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways, but she also second guesses all the things that she says and does, like she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I can see it in your head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms. I see. Yuri remains silent for a moment. But, Manbear Pope? That's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. That's so embarrassing that you think that... Wait, I didn't mean it in a bad way. Sorry, I don't really know you were self-conscious about that sort of thing. I guess I more meant that it's kind of cute. What are you saying all of a sudden? Okay, everyone. I think it's about time we shared today's poems. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Yuri exhales, spared from finishing her thought. Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to it. It's not. It's fine. Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. Alright, guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer I only read it with you? I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way. In that case, I'll read a bit more tonight. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit. That's good reasoning. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters. Alright. I stand up, make a mental note of where I left off in the book, and slip it back into my bag. That's why we invented bookmarks. By the way, did you remember to read a poem last night? Yeah. My relaxation ends. I can't believe I could do something so embarrassing. I couldn't really find much inspiration since I've never really done this before. Well, now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share with? I can't wait! Shiori and Monica enthusiastically pull out their poems. Shiori is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Monica wrote hers in a composition notebook. I can always see Monica's pristine handwriting from where I sit. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. I do the same, myself. Who should I show my poem to first? Yuri seems the most experienced, so I should start with her. I can trust her opinion to be fair. Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. What was that? Did I say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. He's gonna hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? You use the imagery and metaphors in the case you've written a lot of poetry previously. Really? Whoa, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time, really. Huh. Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. Well, I know that. I just meant, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. He traces a finger along the words of the poem as if breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah, okay. This is the reason I was able to tell, just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. Having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing that I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form-fit the two together. The end result is that both the style and expressiveness are weakened. Once she refines her train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone. She sounds like an expert. Of course, it's not something you can be blamed for. There's so many different skills and techniques that go into writing, even a simple poem. Just not finding them and building them. But getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little biased, though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. Not sure if Yuri is apologizing to herself, to me, or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it. Yuri smiles dreamily as if it's a rare opportunity for her. Which of itself is kind of funny. After all, is this supposed to be a literature club? Ghost under the light. Tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow. Bathing, it must be this one. Last remaining streetlight to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe, calm, breathing air of the present, but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. I'm sorry I have such terrible handwriting. What? Wasn't thinking that. But you took a long time to read it. Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. That's a relief. I like the poem. Even though it was short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad that you liked it. I'll be honest, since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easier to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Huh? Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, my dear Pope. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Oh, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember that poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. Usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, the feeling, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost. Lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go, of the past. And soon to be left with nothing. That's a lot more solemn, putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. It's nothing, really. Yours was impressive, too, so nah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end, I enjoyed it. I'll keep doing my best for you. Me too. Alright, who should we go with next? Let's go with Natsuki. Well, it's about what I expected from someone like you. That's a little blunt. Well, excuse me, it's not like I said it was bad. Just didn't invoke any emotions. So basically, it's not cute enough for your tastes. Do you want to get smacked? I'll pass. Well, anyway, I guess I need to show you mine. Not that you'll like it. Eagles can fly, monkeys can climb, crickets can leap, horses can race, owls can seek, cheetahs can run, eagles can fly, people can try. But that's about it. Yeah, I told you weren't gonna like it. I like it, but just be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? Well, because everyone in high school thinks writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff, so people don't take my writing seriously. But isn't the part of poems to express themselves? For people to express themselves, excuse me, your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid. Yes, exactly. I like it when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard. Like in this poem. So everyone around you doing great things can be really disheartening. So I decided to write about it. Yeah, I understand. But the other nice thing about simple writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like I said for a rhyme at the end, but then made it fall flat on purpose. Let's bring out the feeling in that last line. So you did. I guess more went into it than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you? Yeah, guess not. Decided to humor her with that last comment. I don't really care how old everyone is, but if she's feeling proud, then I won't take that away from her. Who should I show my poem to next? Let's go with Savory. This is a good poem. Are you sure it's your first time? Of course. It's not that good. I'm not the kind of guy who would be writing poems in his spare time. I guess you're right. That's why it impressed me. Well, to be honest, I was afraid you wouldn't do it seriously. Or that you wouldn't write one at all. Really happy just that you wrote one. Reminds me of how you really are part of the club now. Not to mention the fact I'm standing in front of you in the club room. Well, of course. Not actually into it yet, but that doesn't mean I'll break my promise. See? Like I said before, deep down, you're not selfish at all, you know? Trying new things like this for other people, that's something only really good people do. Thanks, Savory. Not sure if Savory sees the full picture of my motive here. Then again, I can't deny that she's part of the reason that I joined. Knowing how much this means to her, yeah, and I'm gonna make sure you have lots of fun here, okay? That'll be my way of thanking you. Alright, I'm gonna hold you to it then. Yay! Now, you read my poem too, right? Don't worry, I'm really bad at this. We'll see about that. Dear sunshine, the way you glow through my blinds in the morning makes me feel like you missed me, kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Are you asking me to go out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. Wasn't for you, I could sleep forever. But I'm not mad. I want breakfast. Savory, this is just a guess, but did you wait until this morning to write this? No. Just a little bit. You can't answer just a little bit to a yes or no question. I forgot to do it last night. Well, at least it makes me feel a little better about myself. Don't be mean. I still tried my best. Yeah, I didn't mean to say it was a bad poem. It came out nice, but how should I put it? It sounds just like you. Really? Yeah, especially that last line. I made eggs and toast. Even though you were late, it's bad to skip breakfast. I get all cranky. Well, I guess there's no point in arguing. Anyway, thanks for showing me. That was so much fun. Monica's the best. Yeah, but next time I won't forget. I'm going to write the best poem ever. Well, I guess I look forward to it. Who should I show my poem to next? Well, there's only one person left. Just Monica. Hi, Vanderpool. Have a good time so far? Yeah. Good. Glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I've got to. Don't you worry. I'm a little embarrassed today. It's the sort of barrier that we'll learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand Monica my poem. Great job. I was going, in my head while I was reading it. It really is metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easy for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way it counts when I put in some effort. That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked. Anyway, you know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing this full of imagery and symbolism, unlike Sayori, who likes using simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness. Yuri likes it when readers are left to derive their own meaning out of it. It's very challenging to write like that effectively, both allowing people to get something out of it just by feel, or letting them deeply analyze all of the nuances. It can take years of practice, which I'm assuming Yuri hasn't at this point. I never really asked, though. I'm sure I'm nowhere near her level yet. Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learn by trying new things. I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. Could take a while before I feel comfortable doing this. That's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little bit biased towards their own kinds of styles, but I'll always help you find what suits you best. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. I sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. Doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? I see. Well, let's read it then. Hole in the wall. Could have been me. See the direction the spackle protrudes on a noisy neighbor, angry boyfriend. I'll never know. I wasn't home. I peer inside for a clue. No, I can't see. I reel, blind, like film left out in the sun, but it's too late. My retinas already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. Just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It was too deep. Stretching forever in everything. A hole of infinite choices. I realize now I wasn't looking in. I was looking out. And he, on the other side, was looking in. That is more foreshadowing. It's very free-form, if that's what you would call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. That's okay. Yeah, the kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. A lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be very powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. As you could say, I had some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. Kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that, because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. Try so hard to make it perfect, you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big, dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Whew. I guess that's everyone. I glance around the room. It's a little more stressful than I anticipated. As if everyone is judging me for my mediocre writing abilities, even if they're just being nice. There's no way my poems could stand up to theirs. This is a literature club, after all. I sigh. Guess what I ended up getting myself into. Across the room, Sayori and Monica are happily chatting. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They're gingerly exchanging sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As they read in tandem, I watch each of their expressions change. Natsuki's eyebrows furrow in frustration. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly. To this language, eh? Did you say something? Oh, it's nothing. Natsuki dismissively returns the poem to the desk with one hand. I guess you could say it's fancy. Thanks. Yuri, yours is cute. Cute? Did you completely miss the symbolism of something? It's clearly about the feeling of giving up. How can that be cute? I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice. Eh? You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all. Well, I do have a couple suggestions. I was looking for suggestions. I'm going to ask whether I actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Sayori liked it, and Manbert Pope did too. Based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions. First of all, excuse me. I appreciate the offer. I've spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect to change anytime soon, unless of course I come across something particularly inspiring, which I haven't yet. And Manbert Pope liked my poem too. He even told me he was impressed by it. Natsuki suddenly stands up. Oh? I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri. Eh? That's not what I... You're just... Yuri stands up as well. Maybe you're just jealous that Member Popes appreciate my advice more than he appreciated yours. Huh? And how do you know he didn't appreciate my advice? Are you that full of yourself? No. If I was full of myself, I would deliberately go to my way to make everything I do overly cutesy. Is everyone okay? Well, you know what? I wasn't the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as Member Popes started showing up. Natsuki? Natsuki, that's a little... This doesn't involve you. I don't like fighting guys. Suddenly both girls turned towards me as if they just noticed I was standing there. Remember, Pope? She's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it. She can get over herself and learn to appreciate that simple writing is more effective. This wouldn't have happened in the first place. What is the point in making your poems all convoluted for no reason? Meaning should jump out at the reader, not force them to have to figure it out. Help me explain that to her. Wait, there's a reason we have so many deep and expressive words in our language. It's the only way to convey complex feelings and meaning the most effectively. Avoiding them is not only unnecessarily limiting yourself, it's also a waste. You understand that, right? How did I get dragged into this in the first place? It's not like I know anything about writing, but whoever I agree with, they'll probably think more highly of me. So of course that's going to be... Oops, what did I click on? We're gonna save it here. We're gonna side with Yuri. Natsuki, you're right and I like your poem. See? Wait, that's not an excuse for you to be so mean. You shouldn't pick a fight just because someone's opinion is different. That's not what happened, at all. Yuri wouldn't even take my poem seriously. I understand. Yuri? Eh? You're a seriously talented writer. It's no secret that I was impressed. Well, but here's the thing. No matter how simple or refined someone's writing style is, they're still putting feelings into it, and it becomes something really personal. That's why Natsuki feel threatened when you say your poem is cute. I see. I didn't notice that I'm sorry. But, Natsuki, you took it way too far. Yuri means well. And if you just told her how you felt, this wouldn't have happened in the first place. Are you kidding? That's exactly what I did. It was her that... Natsuki, I think that's enough. You both said some things you didn't mean. Yuri apologized. Don't you think you should too? Natsuki clenches her fists. In the end, nobody has taken her side. She's trapped at this point, being defiant only because she can't handle the pressure. I even end up feeling bad for her. Sometimes when I'm hurt, it helps take a walk and clear my head. Sure, she doesn't need to. You know what? I'm gonna do that. I'll spare you having to look at all your faces right now. Without warning, Natsuki snatches her own poem up from the desk and storms out. On the way out, she crumbles up the poem with her hands and throws it in the trash. Natsuki? She really didn't need to do that. I look across the room. Yuri has her chin buried in her hands while she stares down at her desk. I gingerly approach her and sit in an adjacent chair. Everything all right? I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I acted like that. You probably hate me now. No, Yuri. How could anyone not have gotten frustrated at being treated like that? You handled it as well as anyone could. I don't think any less of you. Well, all right. I believe you. Thanks, member. You're too kind. Thankful to have you as part of this club now. It's nothing. One more thing. That one thing that Natsuki said about, I would never do anything so shameful. So, what thing did she say? Well, never mind. I'm gonna go make some tea. Good idea. Make enough for more than one person, okay? Yeah. Okay, everyone, it's just about time for us to leave. How'd you all feel about sharing poems? It was a lot of fun. Well, I'd say that it was worth it. It was alright. Well, most of it. Remember, Pope, how about you? Yeah, I'd say the same. It was a nice thing to talk about with everyone. Awesome. In that case, we'll do the same thing tomorrow. Maybe you learn something from your friends too. Your poems will turn out even better. I think to myself, I did learn a little more about the kinds of poems everyone likes. With any luck, that means I can also do a better job impressing those I want to impress. I nod to myself with a newfound determination. Remember, Pope, ready to walk home? Sure. Let's go. Sayori beams at me. Truly has been a while since Sayori and I have spent this much time together. I can't really say I'm not enjoying it either. Sayori, about what happened earlier. What do you mean? Between Yuri and Natsuki. That kind of thing happen often? No. That's really the first time I've seen them fight like that. I promise they're both wonderful people. You don't hate them, do you? No, I don't hate them. I just wanted your opinion, that's all. I can see why they make good friends with you. Member Pope, it's nice that I get to spend time with you in the club. But I think seeing you get along with everyone is what makes me the happiest. I think everyone really likes you too. That's... every day is going to be so much fun. Looks like Sayori still hasn't caught on the kind of situation I'm in. Sure, being friends with everyone is nice, but it doesn't really need to stop there. We'll just have to see what the future holds, Sayori. I pat Sayori on the shoulder. I say that more to myself than to her, but it's easy to use Sayori's internal monologues at times. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Alright, that is where I am going to leave it then, and we will come back and compose our next poem. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. So far it's been just the base game, and I'm curious to see if the base game itself is different than the new stuff that they've added on, or if the new stuff is incorporated into the base game. I'll be really curious to see that. But for right now, I'm going to leave this here, so if you guys liked it, feel free to leave a like and comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll see you next time.